Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This whole world's confusing me. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Marvel at the Movies. I'm Kyle, and this is my lovely co-host Doug. Doug, how are you doing?
Doing lovely. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Doing really well. Looking forward to another episode of Marvel at the Movies, and this is going to be a great episode. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I am so pumped. Before we get really too deep in the episode, I was going to hand over Doug for another second just to kind of go over our show's incredible, amazing sponsor.
Absolutely. And I didn't tell Kyle, which was kind of pre-podcast. But we actually we're going to start talking about another sponsor. Yes, we have another sponsor, which is really cool. I'm going to start mentioning him a little bit tonight. One of my very good friends. And it's not you, Robbie. So so I wanted to just mention first that Simon Organizing is still our wonderful sponsor. And I've just noticed that, when I do the sports blitz with Robbie's room in the background is all messed up, and he fixes his truck drawer on Saturday nights. And sometimes he does this, sometimes he does that, but that's okay. It's all good. He admits it, he knows. But what Robbie just needs to do is call Simon Organizing. And what they do is they come in and help him organize everything in his room. And they can help organize each space that he has in the closet or his drawers or under the bed. No, you don't want to go there. You just don't want to go there. And what they do is they create a organized space, a serene space that you love, that it's a joy to hang out in. Just remember, people, Simon Organizing, creating a stress-free home. And our second is really quick. Now we have a double sponsor now, which is really great. Our second sponsor is one of my very good friends now. Now I say now because we talk a lot now, but he just became a friend within the last few months. And he actually has a couple books out there, and he's got some videos. His name is Wes Woodson. And if you have a moment, you should go check out this book right here. I hope it's backwards. I don't know. Kind of weird. It's called I Hate Anxiety, or I Have Anxiety. Not I hate it. He doesn't like it, but it's called I Have Anxiety. So What? By Wes Woodson. Go out. Not just go out. If you can't go out and get the book, which is fine, check him out on YouTube. Wes Woodson. He's on YouTube. He's awesome. He talks a lot about stress. He talks a lot about his story, his own story that's out. And I think it's important to get that out there because a lot of people don't talk about it. It's super important to talk about stress and anxiety and stuff like that because there's a lot of things that are happening in the world, and people need to know that there are people out there that can help and that kind of thing. So that's really super important. So check out Wes Woodson on YouTube, and if you can, his book. And that's our sponsors for tonight.
Cool. I am definitely going to have to check out his channel. I unfortunately was not able to check out his channel, but I remember you were telling me about that, Doug, and
yeah,
it really intrigued me, and I really like this kind of this angle that he really goes about doing that. So
absolutely. And again, he's had a lot of stress in his life, and he's got a story, and I'm not going to tell you what the story is because I want you guys to see it and hear it, listen to it. But it's a great story. we all have them out there, and it's great to have somebody like this that's kind of putting it out there so people can relate and then hopefully get it.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, that sounds great.
Mm.
And just to kind of just to preface what we're getting into tonight. So we and I know you guys are gonna, after I introduce this, you guys are gonna think like, wait, you guys are Marvel at the movies. What's going on here? But what we wanted to talk about was TV shows. You're like, what? But as
Talk
the
about
show,
everything entertainment though, Kyle, don't we? I mean, we talk TV, we've talked Star Trek, that TV show. So
that's
we've talked
true.
about TV before, so it's all good, it's all good.
Yeah, and a lot of these shows connect to movies anyways, and you know what, TV is its own kind of like really incredible medium. So it's like there's a lot of there's a lot of reason to talk about it. So exactly.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It's fun, man. It's fun to talk about our favorite TV shows. It's fun to talk about how they relate to things that happen in our like in our lives. We remember maybe watching it now, we remember something that happened a long time ago. And it's really cool to talk about those things.
Yeah, kind of like when we were talking about like also like nostalgic movies, and how when you look at like when you look back at a lot of older TV shows and maybe you didn't pick up on everything when you were younger when you watched it then, and you look at it now and you're like, oh, these shows had a lot more meaning than you had really had realized. So yeah, I was just kind of gonna start with maybe start small, and I was thinking like if you want to get into some of the Marvel shows that maybe we like, and you know what, from there we can just branch off to any show we can like, any show that really sticks with us that we watched when we were younger, or shows that we have watched recently and that we really just enjoyed, because there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of TV shows, and I feel like TV shows in general, with all the streaming sites and everything, they've hit kind of like a renaissance almost. So, it's hard to pick like nowadays, like which show to watch, because everyone's recommending like 50 kinds of, or 50 shows, while other people are recommending 50 other shows that the other person didn't even mention. So it's like, yeah.
No,
So,
absolutely. And a lot of people are going all streaming. We're doing it here. We're going to be going all streaming. My brother Josh is doing that too. So he's also going all streaming, getting rid of the cable, and but you can get regular cable channels on a few other things, YouTube, Fubo. There's a few other things, and I think, yeah, YouTube TV and Fubo are two of the ones that I know of.
you can even hook up like an HD like antenna as well if you really want to kind of stick old school. Like if you have like a flat screen TV, grab like a $20 HD antenna, and you can still get some channels depending on which area you're in. So
right, exactly, because it'll catch the signals. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Definitely. But yeah, that's kind of what what I'm doing, is that it's going all streaming because cable's really expensive, and we're watching more streaming apps than we are cable anyway. So we can continue to get a streamer and continue to get all the streamers. I find that there's so much content on these, and there's new content that comes on it, pretty much every month.
Constantly.
Yeah, it's just so much more cost effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it is at first.
Yeah, and a lot of what I've noticed too is like a lot of the content on it is very original. So it's like, you have all these like streaming platforms like Netflix and Prime, and they're all making their own shows, so they all seem to have like a big enough budget where they're hiring all these like really famous actors to be in it, like Netflix. You had Netflix hire Henry Cavill, who was famous as Superman, and they gave him his own show, The Witcher. So it's like, there's a lot of shows like that are kind of like very unique to the platform itself. So it like a lot of, yeah, that's how I think a lot of people are watching it nowadays. So but I was going to get into just kind of yeah, some of the shows that you really like, and you can even start with Marvel or just shows in general, if you wanted to just kind of jump right in and just talk
Yeah.
about shows in general that you really like.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I'd like to start with is kind of like TV series,
Mhm.
and just kind of start with that. And I'm going to start with stuff I was watching a long time ago versus what I'm watching now. And then what's interesting is that some of those TV series are trying to make comebacks with different with like different people in them, which by the way drives me nuts because it's very difficult to see those other people.
Yeah.
We'll give you some examples of those too, but some of the ones that I was watching when I was a kid in the 70s, MASH. MASH is a perfect example of a TV series that by the way, it's on Hulu, people. So if you want to get Hulu, MASH is on that. MASH is a series that I consistently, this is how I know it's a great show. I know it's a great show when if you watch the series, you watch the series again. And what happens is that on each episode that you watch, you cry at the same parts.
Mhm.
I mean, you had to cry when Henry Blake died. I mean, you have to cry when Henry Blake died, when he goes home and he doesn't make it home. They were trying to make it that way on purpose. He was kind of against it, the actor. McLean Stevenson was not real happy with the fact that they were off. But he understood why. Because it was talking about the Korean War. They're talking about war in general. And that war shouldn't be glorified. But it's interesting because MASH is actually, so they're not trying to glorify it, but it's a comedy. But I laugh at the same parts. I literally cry at the same parts. That's how you know that it's a great show, is that you can watch it over and over and over again and still have the same reactions.
Stands the test of time.
Yeah, I know it. I know a lot of it by heart, and some of it I can put out there. It's like watching a movie over and over again. You still get that same feeling. And that's what makes it, in my estimation, makes it a good movie or a good TV show. Mm-hmm. The other ones I watched, All in the Family, was a breakthrough. A breakthrough because you couldn't talk about the stuff that was on there. You could never have a show, never, ever have a show with a bigot. And again, Carol O'Connor was not a bigot, but he played one on TV. You could never have a show like that today. It'd be really risky to do. Mm-hmm. But it was a breakthrough show because they talked about everything. They talked about abortion. They talked about rape. They talked about social issues. Talked about not having a job, Archie not having a job at one point, blah, blah. That was, the genre back then was all about reality, as far as I'm concerned. Good Times came out of that too. Mm-hmm. Not from that series. Actually, The Jeffersons came out of that series. So The Jeffersons was a African-American who makes it and actually moves up in the world and goes from a poor neighborhood to a high rise. So it's the reverse. But when you're talking about Good Times, you come to Good Times, and Good Times is about a poor family, a poor African-American family. So there was, and what I think what it was in the 70s, it was all about getting the point out there. It's all about not just social justice or whatever. It's not even that. It's more about talking about subjects that you weren't necessarily supposed to. But they put it out there, and I thought it was just phenomenal. Love Boat was another one. Fantasy Island was another one. Love Boat is great because it's all about going on a cruise ship and it's real. It's a real cruise ship back then. I mean, it's real. Pacific Princess is actually a real cruise line. And actually, Gavin McLeod, who was the captain, played Captain Stubing, he actually was the spokesperson for about 40 years, 50 years, or whatever it was, over 40 years for that line, for real. Like, he got money for that. I'm talking about. So that was kind of the 70s. I mean, there was some movies out there, but Star Trek, another one.
Oh yeah.
And again, we talked about that before too. Star Trek, obviously the TV series was just phenomenal. That actually started more in the late 60s, mid 60s to 70s. By the way, just want to tell you, if you are a Star Trek fan, you have to go to Netflix. You have to watch the documentary on Mr. Spock. His son, Leonard Nimoy's son, puts this whole documentary together, and it's phenomenal. It's awesome. So you got to go and watch it. It's not that long. It's only 4 hours long. It's what should be, but it's not. It has some accounts. Leonard Nimoy is talking about stuff on there too. It's just phenomenal. It's just a great documentary. It talks about some stuff that I didn't even know about. How he came up and doing what he's doing. And he did everything. Now, I don't know if anybody knows, but he actually, and he did some voiceover. He did whatever he could grab while doing the TV show. So it was really cool. Just watch it. Watch the Betty White one too. It's freaking immense. That's also on Netflix. You have to watch the Betty White one. Speaking of Betty White, Golden Girls, it's a great series. Even if I'm not that age, it's just great. It's just great. Unfortunately, everybody now has passed away from that series, but it's phenomenal. And that was more of an 80s thing. In the 80s, hey, we could talk about the Greatest American Hero. Greatest American Hero is kind of a hero thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I just want to kind of start with that, Kyle, and wanted to kind of move it over toward you so I'm not dominating this particular period of time. But those are the kinds of shows I like, the shows that were real, that showed kind of real life. And in some way, I know that it's TV, it's entertainment. Shows that kind of showed real life.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's a really good place to start, Doug. The kind of like the shows that you watch, to start kind of like when we were younger. So I do have a kind of a funny story, a funny thing to tell. So growing up, I actually wasn't a big TV person. I was always more of a movie person. I don't know what it was. Like I just, when I was at a young age, there were a couple shows that kind of like, that interests me a little bit. Like I watched shows like I Dream of Jeannie, and like I used to hop on like TV Land and stuff like that, and they had that. And I think every once in a while, my sister loved Bewitched. That was like her all-time favorite show growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how she did that. I can't look at my nose like that. I just can't do it.
Right?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Well, it's interesting because like on that 70s show, which by the way is a great show, and it talks about the 70s, and I kind of grew up in that era. I wasn't a teenager until I got to the 80s, but still I grew up in that era where I knew about the 70s and stuff like that. And actually the car that they have, the Vista Cruiser, we had that car, which is so cool. Same color, same car, same everything. So sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to tell you that they talked about if there was a battle, listen to this, there was a battle between Samantha and I Dream of Jeannie, who would win? Who would win that battle? It's wild, isn't it? That's crazy. Got to think about that.
Movie.
I want people to comment. Who do you think would win the battle between I Dream of Jeannie and Samantha from Bewitched? Who would win that battle? I mean, just think about what they can do. Like Samantha can freeze people, right? But Samantha from Bewitched can freeze people, right?
think
She
so.
could also send you to like Alaska. but
It's pretty powerful.
I Dream of Jeannie got some power too. Some stuff too. So interesting to figure that out. And I want to see some comments in the commenting about who would win that battle.
Doug, I feel like if some Hollywood executives watch this episode, they're gonna be like, okay, there's our movie. There we go.
There's that movie. Kyle, you and I should make that movie.
Oh hell yeah, let's direct it. We'll do team directing. You know?
Exactly. We'll pitch it together. I don't know if that'll work, but we'll try.
I would pay good money to see that movie. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of people would pay money to see that movie.
Yeah, no, but I mean, those two shows are just so iconic, and it's funny because after watching those shows, I was never really a big sitcom guy. I don't know why. I just never really I just never really latched onto them. My sister was the one that she loved all the sitcoms, like Friends and How I Met Your Mother later on, and just like she would that was her deal. And
I love How I Met Your Mother.
I heard good things about the show. I wish I could. Maybe
Very
one day
good.
I'll have.
Very good because it's a thinker. It makes you think.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair.
And it's the narrator who's the guy. You got to figure out what guy it is. There's several guys in the show. You have to figure out what guy it is, and it's him talking to his kids about, "Hey, How I Met Your Mother."
Oh.
And this is the story. So each episode is a story.
Okay.
About I Met Your Mother.
Huh.
It's a very interesting concept. It's very different than just regular episode.
Yeah.
It's also very funny too.
Okay. Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. That's a cool setup because I don't think I've ever heard of a sitcom that does that. So but yeah, no, that actually, yeah, I might check it out. Plus I heard the I think it was my roommate was telling me apparently they have a big they're big fans of the Karate Kid franchise, and I heard that they had reoccurring guests from the Karate Kid, like the old school 80s, they had apparently Ralph Macchio and William Zabka from the movies come on. So me being a Cobra Kai fan, and I'll get into that a little later.
I started watching it. I got to continue to watch it because I have not seen. I saw up to a certain point.
Yeah,
so I need to continue because I love the Karate Kid. I love it. It's like the Rudy of karate-ness.
Yeah, it's kind of got that underdog vibe, and I really like that. So,
by the way, I do have my favorite, which is my favorite under the four movies, Karate Kid.
Okay,
with
including the Hilary Swank, and including actually,
yes,
technically there's 5 because they remade it with Jackie Chan.
I know, but I don't really. I didn't watch this.
That's fair. That one doesn't really count. It's more of a reboot.
I love Jackie Chan, but I have a real hard time watching, Starsky and Hutch the movie. I can't do it. I really have a hard time.
Yeah.
I watched the TV series, and it's very, very difficult for me to watch a movie with that and them not being the characters and stuff like that. So it's very hard for me to see sequels like that. I just finished within the last few days, Balboa. Okay, I just finished it. I started watching it. I was like, I cannot believe he made this movie. Why did he make this movie? Why do we have to continue to see Rocky in the ring? Why do we have to continue to see this?
Well, yeah, 'cause
I was just laughing through the most of it, and then his son's friend almost hooks up with him. What they are really stretching here. I mean, they're really stretching this out. I mean, does he come up with this stuff in the bathroom? I mean, I don't I just don't understand how many. I mean, Friday the 13th, the series drives me nuts. You know that because it's just 16 kids getting killed each time. But every single time we got to see Rocky in the ring, and he's getting upset, and he has to prove himself. He's got to prove himself one more time. I mean, Talia Shire's not even in it anymore. They killed her off, which is horrible. And like he's
Oh, in
still
the sixth movie they killed her off?
himself. In the last one, they did.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, she's not there. This is why this is kind of that little. It's not even a love interest. Rocky has a restaurant, and he hires her, gets her off the street, hires her to be the host or a hostess, something like that in the restaurant. And she's got a kid. This is the girl that was in the first movie.
Yeah.
Same girl, same actress.
Wait, what?
But now she's older. And it was his son's friend. Now his son's in the last movie too.
Yeah.
But he's like this corporate executive and decides to quit. It's crazy. I mean, it's like this over here and this over here. And Rocky's got to prove himself again and again and again. It's just crazy. But I just finished it and I was like, oh, God. And then you hit and then you're like, oh, cool, we're back. Maybe we're back. He's back. Oh, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I am watching Rocky 64. You just gotta stop. Okay, First Blood, number 42. I mean, how far are we gonna go with this other series? I mean, I get it. You make movies because you want to make money, and you make movies because you may like making movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, really? I mean, you just got to keep going on it. So I had a hard time. But anyway, going back to the Karate Kid, I am my favorite. But that the last one that they did with Pat Morita, with Hilary Swank.
Yes.
85% of that was done at my high school.
That was your high school?
The only scene that's not my high school is when they're actually at the dance. That is a high school in Connecticut because if you watched where we had dances, it was in our gym, and our gym was horrible. So there was no way that they could. I mean, they would have to spend so much money just like prepping that whole gym area, and it echoed like crazy. It's horrible echo in there because it's a gym where we play basketball.
Yeah.
So they went down to a high school in Connecticut to do just the scene, just the actual dance scene.
Wow.
The other scenes were all done at the high school. The one on the roof, the burn on the roof. And if you notice, when the police car pulls up, it says Brookline on it. Brookline Police. They filmed it in Brookline. Now, I was at Emerson College at the time. And I actually knew someone who was one of the producers on the show. And she said, why don't you stop by and just like hang out? I said, okay, I'll stop by and hang out. It's my high school. Sure. After class one day, I decided to come. Just hung out. Didn't get to meet anybody. I saw Hillary walk out of her trailer. I saw Pat Morita walk out of his trailer. I couldn't find my friend who was in my class, but I just hung out there for the whole day. It was really cool.
Wow.
But again, 90% of the action is done. You see them on the top of a train not when they first meet, but you'll see it's the Red Line.
Oh, wow.
It's on top of a Red Line train.
I gotta watch the movie again. Jeez.
You do, because when you watch it and you know that it's done. When I watched it and I knew that it was done at my high school, I was like, oh, I gotta watch it. They're on the first floor when they do that first running scene when they're running after her. They're on the first floor where my locker was.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really cool watching it. I never went to the roof though. So I'm assuming that the roof just looked just like that. And they were also in the quad. It was a quadrangle. They were in the quad also. They were in that school hall, which is pretty cool. And again, I went to hang out. Just hang out. Didn't get to meet anybody, but I hung out. But my favorite, and I will tell you this, my favorite.
Okay.
Number 2.
Nice.
When they go to Okinawa.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I that was the one. I think I saw like bits and pieces of it. I gotta see it from beginning to end, like because it's been so long since I've seen like some.
You really do. You really do. You don't have to see one again because you know kind of what one's about.
Yeah.
You don't have to see one again, but number two kind of sets up for three and not even four. Kind of sets you up for three
Okay.
and maybe even four, but it really kind of a different story and is a little bit more serious content
Hmm.
as opposed to, Daniel just, trying to, he's bullied and trying to get his way and trying to find out how to do it without trying to beat up the other guys. Does it in a tournament as opposed to on the side of the road.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But number two is my favorite.
Cool.
I love that.
Oh, then you're gonna. I think you're gonna really be interested where Cobra Kai goes because they do a good job at referencing all the movies, and I'm
Yeah,
curious. To see what you're
I'm
think about
gonna I'm gonna do a little in-person research right now, really quickly. But you go ahead. You tell us about the kinds of things that you like too, because I know that you really didn't.
No, it's all good. But yeah, kind of growing up, aside from like I Dream of Jeannie and some of the shows from TV Land, when I was growing up, so as a kid, my favorite show as a kid where I watched, the like the 2 or 3 shows I was like I really stuck with. So I watched the ever living hell out of the Power Rangers, and yeah, we're talking like 90s Power Rangers, horrible cheesy effects. Like, I had just watched these.
I watched it once. I thought I was going to throw up. No, but that's okay. I mean, there are people that know it. But
Oh, yeah. It
it's
is the cheesiest show you will ever see.
pretty bad. But it's okay because they had a following. Kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had a following.
But I would say
And they were like superheroes, right?
Yeah,
I would say they made movies.
No, they made movies. They have the Power Rangers movie back in '95. So yeah, the fact that I actually remembered that is very just I'm sure it's very disturbs a lot of people. Um, but yeah. But yeah, no, Power Rangers is the cheesiest show you'll ever watch. It is just like and well, here's a fun fact I learned recently about Power Rangers. So they actually took a lot of this. They actually took certain scenes, like it's actually based on a '70s show from Japan from Japan called Super Sentai. And so what they did was they actually spliced scenes from that series. The scenes where like they were the villain would grow big and they'd have to fight them with a giant robot. Like literally every episode,
Yeah.
they see the same.
Yes.
They'd fight the villain on the ground, and then like they would get defeated. And then the villain would grow like huge, and then they'd call on their Megazord robot things. Those were actually apparently scenes from the '70s version from the Super Sentai series. So they actually took those scenes and spliced them into the '90s version.
Wow.
Right, which is like crazy, and if you think about it, it was very practical because the Power Rangers, whenever they would fight, they had helmets on, so you couldn't tell who was in the suits.
Right.
So I was thinking like that's actually a very clever kind of like editing idea. And also I feel like I'm sure it saves money on the budget because you can tell the budget is like
I'm sure. $21 to make that.
Yeah.
$21 an episode. That's all you need. You have those suits. You could just go to your local dollar store to get most of that stuff up.
Yep, and just get those little sparkler effects or whatever, and then boom, you got yourself a Power Rangers episode.
Right. There you go. You're a Power Ranger. There you go. Bam, you're a Power Ranger. Now, where'd you get all that stuff? I went to the dollar store. Yeah, that's exactly.
I believe that.
So Cobra Kai, I just looked up. I'm on season 1, episode number 9.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're almost done with the first season. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've watched a lot so far.
Nice.
I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
And I guess I like it because you have really the two main. I mean, you got Ralph Macchio. As long as you got Ralph Macchio, I'm good. If you don't And I get it. They switched it around on the last Karate Kid with Pat Morita. I get it. I thought that was actually, again, we talked about actually pretty good. It wasn't great because it didn't have Ralph Macchio in it. So, well, what the hell? But yeah, so I'm on 9 right now, and I want to watch because I'm really trying to figure out where this is going, and I think I have an idea.
Yeah, it's a really interesting series. It's one of the series I've watched very recently too, and I've seen the first 4 seasons because now they're on season 4. Yeah, it literally just came out like I think the end of last year. But I agree, it's a great series. It's I love that they include all the old cast members back, and there's still some. I can't wait to see like your reaction on like what happens in like the later seasons. Like I think there's gonna be scenes you're gonna be like, what? No way! Like how is this going on? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely want to start. It's definitely on my list of things that I want to continue to watch. There's so many things. There's so much, and again, we talked about how much content is on the streamers. Keep yourself busy for a really long time. You know what streamer I'm actually watching, which is completely free because it has commercials. I'm actually watching Pluto.
Oh, okay, Pluto's pretty good.
Pluto TV. Pluto TV has Love Boat on it, commercial. Also has something that I absolutely loved that was around for a little while. I actually taped it. I taped it as in videotape. I was videotaping it.
Oh yeah, I do that with Smallville all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a whole bunch of them, and I put them onto DVD. Nice. And it is Iron Chef Japan.
Oh, cool.
Cooking show, but it's Japanese.
That's awesome.
They have, and it's a competition. They bring all these chefs from all around the world to compete. It's called Gourmet Academy. What they do is they got Chairman Kaga. He's the one that put this whole thing together, but it's really not. It's like a show. It's a TV show. So it's a little bit, I mean, he didn't put this whole thing together, but the concept is that he decided to make this cooking ring, this competition ring. And I'm going to get the 3 best chefs in Japan, and I'm going to have them compete against the world's best. So there's a Cheyenne, there's a Cheyenne, right? There's a chef, wish I could speak now. There's a chef French. I'm not even going to say his name because it's going to not be good if I say it. There's an Iron Chef French. There's an Iron Chef Japanese. There's an Iron Chef Italian.
Nice.
There's an Iron Chef Chinese. So all these people, and when I say Japanese cooking, Chinese cooking, Italian cooking, and what was the last one? Chinese, Italian, French, right? So it's all different cooking genres, but these are the best people in their, like, it's Hiroyuki Sakai is the French, Japanese French. He is the best French chef in Japan.
Wow, that's cool.
So, and he battles other people, and Chairman Kaga is the one who gives them the ingredients for the day. And the ingredient, he goes like this. It's like covered. And there's this thing that comes up to show the ingredient. It's this little, and it comes up, shows the ingredient. He goes, and it's all in Japanese, but it's got subtitles. So he takes the sheet off and it comes up. Here it is. Here's the ingredient. And it's cod or apples or eel, live eels.
Oh, eel. Oh my goodness.
Live octopus. These octopi. Enormous. Some of these. Just awesome. And the food that they make, you probably wouldn't ever eat if they paid you to eat it. But it's really cool how they make it. Like milk is one of the is a ingredient one time milk. Apples is one. Sometimes they do holiday stuff because they have a lot of holiday stuff in Spring Festival. Blah blah. It is awesome. I used to watch the show when I came home after my gigs, after my DJ gigs, going out and doing parties. And once I went out to parties, I came home and I just ate. It was really late, and it was on late on Food Network. Now it's not. Now it's on Pluto. It's awesome. Anybody that can just watch this, it is a food competition. Now, then they did Iron Chef America on Food Network. Remember? I don't know if you ever saw that Iron Chef America.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, that's okay.
I've never like seen episodes, but
yeah, no, and it had Bobby Flay. Can't stand it.
oh,
You
yeah.
had a couple other people, and then they started to go to Japan and started to compete against the other guys too.
Like crossover episodes.
It was a crossover. Yes, they had some crossover appeal. Iron Chef America didn't make it because everybody that liked Iron Chef Japan, they were like, okay, this is all right, but it's not great. But some big chefs came out of the Iron Chef America. So I just love that. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it just reminds me of stuff I used to watch really late at night.
Yeah.
And being so tired, I was like, am I really watching? But it was awesome. Just freak that whole series was awesome. They had a special Millennium episode, which I actually have on DVD. I haven't seen it on Pluto yet. They have it every hour. Pluto just does programming 24 hours a day, every hour. It's very cool. There's other stuff on there too. So check out Pluto. I don't work for them. I'm just saying. And it does have commercials. So be aware that you be watching with commercials. But the shows are pretty cool. A lot of cool shows.
Okay.
I had to bring up Giant Chef America. That's from the 90s and early 2000s. It goes up, late 90s, yeah. It went on for probably 11, 12 years.
That's not wow, not bad for a cooking
Yeah,
show.
it was long. Not bad for a cooking show, not bad for a Japanese cooking show, which is very popular in America.
Yeah.
Very cool. And they have these guests on. They have judges. So they get the lady. There's a lady there that does culinary judging. She's a judge. And then they get this actress, and then they get this ball player from the national baseball league in Japan or something like that. They have different judges each time. And it's really cool. They judge it and they write the whole thing, and then the competition. And, it's great. Phenomenal. Crazy, but phenomenal.
Cool.
And I wouldn't eat the food.
Wow.
The food looks good, but some of the stuff I just
Yeah, that's one thing I have about like cooking shows. I mean, I have personally nothing against them, but from the stuff I've watched, like their meals look so freaking good. So I have to be like stuffed before I like watch those shows, or else as I watch them, I'm gonna get so hungry, and I'm gonna have to go on like Grubhub or something like that. Just like
exactly. The other thing to watch is Anthony Bourdain. Anything Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, I heard great things about him. I heard he's very, or he had a really good like series of shows there.
Yes, the last one it's one I watch all the time, which is super, super good. You want to watch any kind of, like, he goes to different places, and he goes there and just asks questions about their situation. I'm watching the one from Detroit. What about the city and gone down and whatever. It's called Parts Unknown. The best Anthony Bourdain series that's out there, right? Unfortunately. And just phenomenal. He goes to, and there's so many places. It's the reason I like it is because you get a sense of the culture. He goes to the Congo.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Good
And
Lord.
the only thing I would make aware when you watch some of is the fact that there are certain parts that they warn you up front that it may be sensitive or not really good to watch, because when he goes to some of these countries, some of the culture is to kill animals for food,
Oh, gotcha.
and you see that happen. There's some that don't. He goes to Spain and he meets up with this bull this matador, and there's a certain time where they actually do kill the bull, and they actually eat the bull. So they make this unbelievable stew, and look, talking about you looking at it going, oh, man, I want to just taste that. You have to be aware that there are some cultures we don't typically see our food. We see our food in stores. Okay. We don't typically go out in the backyard, kill a goat or a lamb or a cow and cut it up and then put it on the grill. It's not something we do here in the United States. It's not necessarily part of our culture, but there are certain countries that do that. So when you watch the series, just be aware. You'll know it because they'll tell you, but just be aware that there's certain things. There's one scene where he goes to the Congo and he actually kills a pig.
Oh, wow.
Enormous. Now, pigs are really super smart. So it was pouring. He was waiting for the pig to come down. The pig escaped from the cage. So they're trying to grab this pig. So he's like waiting down there. He's getting really impatient. He's like, what's going on? Is everything? So finally they get the pig down there, and the pig knows what's going on. So you hear it squealing, and it's a little tough. It's a little tough, but again, this is what they do. They give a small lamb to a tribal member, and he gives a gift back. That was a gift, an offering. That's what happens in these cultures. You have to be aware that there are some TV shows out there that are going to be really super real with cultures and what cultures do, and you might not want to watch them because of your beliefs or whatever. So you just got to be aware. I think it's a great series, just because he goes to different cultures, and I'm learning about different cultures just by him being there. Yeah. Talks about a little bit of politics. He does meet President Obama in Thailand and has a drink and a meal with him, which is pretty cool. I won't talk about that too much because I want people to go and see it. But it's great. I love it. I just love it because, and again, it's kind of like a cooking show, but really not. It's like a travel cooking show.
Okay.
Maybe I would watch it. I watch it, even if there's some sensitive material in it. And again, it's not all the time. I mean, when he goes to Detroit, we don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Goes to New Jersey and San Francisco. He spends some time with his brother, and like Long Island or New York. Turns out he grew up in Massachusetts. So for a little bit of time.
I know that. Wow.
He was.
Huh.
So again, you get to know him, but you also get to know other cultures, and it's kind of cool. It's a very, very cool show. HBO Max, but HBO Max.
Oh, great channel. Oh, they got a lot of great stuff there.
I love HBO Max. West Wing. Oh. Gotta watch.
Yeah, with Martin Sheen, he's like.
Gotta have Martin. I would vote for Martin Sheen for president right now. Right now, and it's wild. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool series. Got some great people. Rob Lowe, Allison Janney.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And she was in a show just recently called Mom, which is really good. So Yeah, it's just a great series with Martin Sheen, Lily Tomlin's in it.
Oh yeah. She's a good. Yeah, she's a
She,
good
well,
character.
she's in the later episodes because she plays the president's executive secretary, and she's very. It's actually funny at times, and it talks a lot about politics, but it's okay. You learn what goes on in politics. But yeah, HBO Max, phenomenal. That's a great show. Not just HBO, but Cinemax and a couple other.
I didn't know Cinemax had their own streaming. Oh yeah, but I mean it makes sense. I feel
They
like
don't because they're part of HBO bought Cinemax, so I believe they're part of
Oh,
HBO.
yeah, yeah.
Anything that was on Cinemax, you couldn't find there. Arliss is on there. I don't know if you know Arliss. Arliss is a sports agent. Not a very long series because not a lot of people are really interested in that too much, but
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. It's pretty cool.
nice. Yeah, I mean, just like there's just so many shows out there, and honestly, Doug, I'm thinking because of all the shows that like I feel like we're gonna have to make a few different parts of this series because there are like
One,
so many great shows to talk about.
one. Gotta be part
Um,
one, man.
yeah, like just I mean yeah, we're gonna make several versions of this, yeah, just because, and I'm sure you guys are. I mean, because it's like I said before, like we're literally in the middle of like a TV show renaissance at this point, and it's just like
Yeah.
that we have all these great options to watch these older shows that we loved growing up, and just all this new content that's coming out. I mean, the fact that I can also, I think Hulu recently released one of my favorite shows growing up too. They re-released Smallville, I believe. I think you could still watch it
Oh,
on that.
really?
I
Oh,
think
cool.
so. And that's a show that was the first, I think, TV show I really stuck to. It wasn't Power Rangers where I just kind of tuned in whenever I wanted to and just like, just watch them fight robots. Like it was the first series that I really stuck with, and I actually watched every episode for all 10 years that it was out. And it was just and obviously you guys know that I love Superman. Christopher Reeve Superman movies are my all-time favorite. And the fact that they made a show on my favorite superhero of all time, I had to watch that too, so and I just like the way they kind of took it at a very grounded approach, and they really did make Superman human, I thought. And Tom Welling, I thought, was a great Clark Kent. And I just like the whole idea of a show that you look at Clark Kent before he became Superman. Like the whole point wasn't seeing him as Superman. The whole point was seeing him grow up to be Superman. And I think the show just really had a lot of great stories to tell. And yeah, it's one of those series that you kind of watch it, and there were definitely a lot of filler episodes. And I think maybe it could have like been knocked back a few seasons. Like it could have ended a little earlier. But you know what? Having said that, it's still memorable in that kind of like, you watch it and it has a very early 2000s vibe, and I kind of love it for that. Like some of the stuff does get a little cheesy at times and the effects are kind of dated. But I mean, what that show really brought to the table was, they had a lot of great characterization. I mean, outside of also, not just like, Tom Welling's Clark Kent, but I absolutely loved the guy who played speaking of older shows too, Dukes of Hazzard. I love the guy who played John Schneider, who played his father on the show, Pa Kent. He was incredible. He was like the best TV dad I think I've ever seen. Like I feel like you watching that series, you get to know him so well, and you're like, man, he's like my second dad at this point. Like he's so cool.
It's so wild because I mean, John Schneider, you're right. He's on Dukes of Hazzard, really, really young.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV shows from the probably early '80s, and love the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, you got it. Was it Catherine Bach? Like Daisy? Was it Catherine, or was it the other? There's two. That was Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when you're a kid growing up, You're watching the Dukes of Hazzard. You're just watching the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, just to see Daisy. You love the action and everything, but you're like you're watching it because you want to see. You just you're just a growing boy, You just want, you just have to watch it. But yeah, I mean, I've heard so many great things about Smallville that I so want to watch that now because I've heard so many great things about it. Yeah, I'm gonna just add that. I'm making a list right here. I'm just adding it to my list.
Yeah, and what I liked about Smallville too is that you think about nowadays about all the shows that are out now, like especially all the superhero shows. We're in a huge like the past I want to say 10 years, we've just seen all these superhero shows come out. We have and I think that's a lot of it's really in thanks to Smallville, because Smallville really kind of it came out at a time where superhero shows weren't really as big of a thing. And people thought, we don't think we can do this in live action and translate it to the small screen. But the showrunners, they took that chance. And at this point, we have it's birthed this whole entire series called the Arrowverse. I don't know if you've heard of that on CW that came out.
I haven't heard of that.
So basically,
not yet.
Yeah. So
I have, but I didn't hear about it before.
It's interesting because it's kind of like the TV version of the MCU, except for DC. And
I got you.
It's pretty much all in CW, and minus Supergirl, which actually started on CBS originally, but then it moved to CW afterwards. But that's a whole nother thing there. But basically, yeah, all these other shows, they were like, well, if we can do Superman, then after Smallville ended, they did the Green Arrow show, just titled Arrow. And then they did The Flash, and then Supergirl, and then now you have Legends of Tomorrow, which is a superhero team, and then Marvel, after even shortly after that, did their Disney Plus series, and of course their Netflix series too. That you can't forget, Daredevil and what's her name? I'm blanking on the girl's name. Yeah, but Daredevil, Luke Cage. You guys are gonna have to back me up in the comments here. I can't. This is terrible. This is killing me.
Is a superhero?
She's a superhero, yeah, and I can't think of the name right now. This is ridiculous.
Not Wonder Woman.
Kristen Ritter. Geez, why can't I remember? I'm thinking of too many shows, and it's knocked it out of Jessica Jones. Sorry, Jessica Jones. That's who I was thinking of. Okay.
See, there you go. You got it.
But yeah, so it just kind of I feel like Smallville was one of the really front runners that started all these other shows, and and just it just kind of blossomed from there. So and obviously
Blossom was a great show too.
Which one?
Blossom.
Blossom? What's that?
Yeah. From the 80s.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Have you watched Big Bang Theory?
No.
Oh yeah, you're not into but it's okay.
I tried that one. I couldn't do it. I don't know. It wasn't vibing with me. So unfortunately,
it wasn't. I thought that would definitely be a show that would be, and then of course what came from that is Young Sheldon, who is Jim Parsons, I believe, who also it's a young Sheldon from the show. It's how he grew up, so that came from that show. But the girl who is Sheldon's love interest in that is the girl who was on a TV show in the 80s called Blossom. She is a neuroscientist, but she's also an actress. She actually has a degree in neuroscience. Crazy.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. It's crazy. But you said Blossom, so I just thought I'd throw Blossom in there because
nice.
And again, dating my old farty self. Jeez. Man, oh man.
Well, no, I mean, like, there's so many great shows, and I was actually gonna see if I, just to kind of like top off the segment here, I was gonna just kind of go into if there are like maybe a couple shows that you watch that, like, because you and I were just talking about some shows that we watched like kind of growing up and a little while ago. Were there any shows more recently that you really kind of latched onto outside of, I know we were just talking about Cobra Kai a little bit, but were there any other shows that kind of like stuck out to you nowadays, or?
Yeah, definitely. There's one that my wife just finished, but I just have a little bit left. And I just can't. I don't know why I haven't watched it. It's on Netflix. It's one of the first shows that was on Netflix, but it is a Netflix original, as they call it, because it's made by Netflix.
You got the giant red N, right.
Yeah, the giant red N. So the yeah. And I thought it was a really cool concept, and it stars a couple of main stars that I actually grew up watching. One of them I grew up watching, again in the 80s, because he did a lot of movies, is a show called Schitt's Creek. And I'm not sure if you've watched it.
I haven't yet, but literally everyone under the golden sun has told me to watch it, so I'm gonna have to get on that one.
It is. When I first started to watch it, I hated it. I thought it was the stupidest freaking show that I've ever seen in my life. But it was Eugene Levy.
I love Eugene.
And Eugene Levy, Armed and Dangerous with John Candy, movie from the 80s. Again, sorry, I'm 80s wise right now. My brain is in the 80s right now. Armed and Dangerous, very funny. Eugene Levy's in it. John Candy's in it. Gotta watch it. Go watch it.
Also, Waiting for Guffman, and basically any movie by Christopher Guest, because they were like a writing team. Just any of those are just definitely
Eugene Levy, very funny. Obviously has a son and a daughter. Both son and daughter are in it. Both actually very funny also.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting concept, because it's a concept of is that and the person who is Eugene Levy's wife coined the phrase, Kevin! Where's that from?
Oh, I mean, Home Alone, of course.
Yes! She's the same actress.
Yeah.
She's the actress that played the mom in Home Alone.
Catherine O'Hara, I love her.
Yes. And she is absolutely phenomenal in this, but she's a lunatic. And that's the best thing, is that she's a loon. So she's this older actress trying to get more work. They have this huge house in LA, and all of a sudden they become broke. Now, what happens is that the dad, Eugene Levy, buys a town a long time ago when he was rich. He bought a town. So they lose their house. Now they're houseless or homeless, and they decide to move to this town. And it's a really, really small town. It is phenomenally funny. They house themselves in the motel, and it's just an everyday adventure. And trying to see. Now, the first couple of episodes I saw, I said, okay, I saw the first one, saw the second one, a little funnier, a little crazier, got the concept. This is stupid. Decided to give it a chance.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did, because it was great and still is great. I just have to finish it. I'm not sure exactly what I'm on now, but I think I have a season that I just need to see, because my wife watched it all the way through. She loved it. Absolutely. Have to watch it. It's on Netflix, called Schitt's Creek. That's the name of the town. Name of the town is called Schitt's Creek.
That's
I mean, it's just, I mean, how can you not watch a show that has the word shit in it, but it's not spelled that?
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
more like SCH,
it's-
something like that.
Yeah. SCHITT. I'm sorry, but it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. And again, the first couple of episodes are they're a little slow.
Mhm.
Please give it a chance because it gets a lot better. It gets a lot better. It's phenomenal. They're trying these very, very rich people who have servants and stuff like that, and now they don't. It's this reverse kind of what do I do? What do we do now? And now that we own this town, how do we? And it's really small. Oh,
Yeah.
it's got dirt. You know, it's like it's wild. It's absolutely wild, and I still have to finish it up. That's probably the next thing I'm going to watch. But it's awesome. Anybody out there, if you have not watched this, you have Netflix, you've got to watch this. And again, give it a chance because I watched the first episodes, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. But it's Eugene Levy. You gotta watch it. It's Eugene Levy, and it's his son, and it's his daughter's in it too. She plays the waitress, I think, at the local coffee
Oh,
shop.
yeah.
They spend a lot of time at the coffee shop. It's very, very funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's just and she has this like it's like she's always acting because she has this. It's like she does this all the time. No, I don't. She sounds like she's acting all the time, but this is her character. And the way she builds up this character, it's just crazy. It's awesome. It's great. I would absolutely recommend it. I haven't even finished it yet. So I would absolutely recommend it. But try it again if you can. Try it. Please try it. Give it a chance because it's very funny and it's a great concept. You don't see too many, whacked out. Well, you do, but not really, really whacked out like this kind of concept.
Yeah.
Taking fish out of water is basically what the concept is. It's very, very good. That's like that was like the first one. I find myself kind of really reverting back to some of the old stuff, because that's kind of what I'm watching, like on HBO. When I'm watching this, that, the other thing. I'm a big documentary guy. I love documentaries.
Oh yeah, so good.
Love documentaries. I will see any kind of documentary. I mean, I think the last one I watched was on a serial killer. I'm trying to figure out why they started watching it. I was like, why is this interesting me? Why is this why am I interested in watching this? This is horrible. It's horrible. But I love the documentaries. I love the war documentaries. Sinatra has a documentary. It's very good at Netflix. Very, very good. See, the reason I'm looking is because I want to make sure that
Yeah, like get the name right.
I hear Ozark is really good. That would
Yeah,
that
my
what
roommate
Bateman-
watches that. He said it was a really great show.
Isn't that is that what Bateman?
Yep, Jason Bateman. Yep.
Yeah, Jason Bateman's in it. Yeah, I hear it's really good. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but I hear it's really super.
Yeah, he's been in some pretty good shows recently. I really like this one that he did. This one's more of a kind of a horror mystery called The Outsider. And it also has Ben Mendelsohn, this really cool Australian guy, but he's playing like he plays a lot of American roles, which is really funny. You wouldn't even know he's Australian if you heard him speak, but that's a great show too. It's definitely more horror mystery. It does get a bit disturbing at times, and very creepy, like really, really creepy. But really cool
This
show.
Creek gets creepy too, but it's like a funny creepy. It's not a bad creepy.
Yeah, no, this is a bad.
It's like a
creepy.
funny creepy. Like what just happened?
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny. If you like anything about England, not something I've watched recently, but I think within the last couple of years, I know my wife wants to watch it because she was always interested in Diana and the Queen and how this all happened. I think one of the shows I just watched within the last few years, especially when Netflix just put it out, or several years after or whatever, is called The Crown, and it's a great series.
I've heard good things about that one.
It's awesome. It's great. It's not really documentary style. It does have actors and actresses playing like the Queen and Diana and all that, but it tells you the story.
Yeah.
It tells you the story about everything from the beginning, not the beginning of time, but the beginning of England. Not really, but around the Queen Elizabeth kind of situation.
That's cool. Like it has like a lot of time jumps, right? Like it kind of goes from like one period and then like
Yes,
period kind of thing, and like
phenomenal. It's really great. It's really great, and it is historically accurate from what I hear,
cool.
Which makes sense and talks about a lot about what was going on at the time, the way Queen Elizabeth was brought up, and by the way, she just 70 years on the throne right now. 70 years and on the throne, and keeps going.
Jeez.
Just keeps going. That's if you're really interested in English history and anything that's England, or you were always interested in Diana, because I know my wife was always interested in the Diana story and what happens, and there's documentaries out there, and things about her death, that kind of thing. Brown really puts it all together.
Okay.
About how Diana was not liked. It talks about how there were different kinds of things that were happening. Talks about how Prince Charles was kind of like black sheep.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And stuff like it really gets in, really dives in deep, which is pretty cool, and it's a lot. There's a lot of content, but it's really super good. And so if you're into documentaries, again, not a documentary, but it's based on fact. It's based on the story of England and kind of around the 70-year reign of Queen Elizabeth. So it starts probably about 70 years, but it gives you the background.
Nice.
Very, very good. Again, not something I watched last week, but something that was really very, very good. But I always the documentary on Clive Davis. If you love music in any way, possible, shape, or form, you got to see it. Clive Davis on Netflix. It's awesome. It's fantastic. If you like music at all, you
I
gotta
love music myself, so
no, you got to watch it, because he did a lot of really great stuff, and it's fabulous. Oh, I just watched a documentary on Ethel Kennedy. Ethel Kennedy was married to Robert.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, JFK's brother, who also was the attorney general and also then in turn ran for president, but got assassinated in 1960.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's about Ethel, but it's about Ethel's family and lots of stuff I didn't even know about.
Wow, very intriguing. Wow, geez. So
yeah, I just watched that literally several days ago. So if you talk about something I just watch that. It's very, very good. You want to know about the kind of the other side, not the other side, but just a different part of the Kennedys. more about Robert than John because there's tons of stuff on John.
Oh yeah, of course.
Specifically about Robert, and it's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just with all the, I mean, kind of going off on like some of the, documentaries that you were talking about too. I watched this very crazy one. So I know you were talking about like that kind of true crime one that you watched. I also watched a true crime one called The Vow. It is whoa, my God. That one gets very disturbing. It cuts really deep because it's about it's about a sex cult. And
Excellent.
I know, right?
Wow.
I know. Doesn't that sound like fun watching about that?
Yeah, well,
but
depends on what you're into, but you never know.
I know people are like, okay,
It's all good. It's all good. Kyle, what
but basically, I feel like I felt the need to watch it because there is a very, very upsetting fact that one of the it actually has a bit of a Smallville connection, believe it or not, because one of the actresses from Smallville ended up going really deep in the cult, and the documentary basically explains like what happened, and it's a very interesting, and it made me hate cults even more that I already hate them. So just at how really kind of crazy how
Wow.
like these people that you think have really good intentions towards you are just basically using you. Like, especially in that situation, like it was just like, wow, just ooh. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. And this other show I really liked. So I love mystery shows myself too. I love anything with like some kind of mystery or intrigue going on. And I think you would like this show too, Doug. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, but this one's actually one that came out last year called Only Murders in the Building. And it has Steve Martin, Martin Short.
Okay, you can stop right there. I'm watching.
Right? And
I have to go any further.
And for the kids, for the youngins, Selena Gomez. And I was a little skeptical about the show at first because, as much as I love, Steve Martin and Martin Short, I mean, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but I was like, oh, okay, Selena Gomez, I feel like they're trying to appeal to like a younger audience as well. Here's the thing. It's a fantastic show. It's one of my favorite shows I've seen recently. I love it because it's actually about like these three people who kind of like they're all interested in murder in true crime podcasts essentially. So what happens is there's a murder in their apartment building that they live in, and so what they do is the three of them band together and they decide to start their own podcast, and with that they kind of try to solve the mystery of like what happened with the murder and everything. And the way the show really basically peels back the layers of the story and everything is just like, it's brilliant. Like I feel like you would love this. It's a really great
show. It's got Martin Short and Steve Martin, and I'm watching.
Yeah. It's very funny too. It's got a lot of great comedic scenes, and Selena Gomez, to her credit, I promise I don't have anything against her, nothing against her, but I was never really interested in a lot of the movies that she was in. But this show, she worked off of, she worked really well. She had really great chemistry with Steve Martin and Martin Short. And I just thought those three were like the key of the show. They were like the heart and soul of the show. They really made it work. And it's good. It's like definitely, it's on Hulu. You can check it out pretty much whenever. So, and they're pretty quick too. The episodes are about like half-hour long each, and I think there's only about like maybe 8 to 10 of them. So you can pretty much fly through it. Yeah.
And what's it called again, Kyle?
It's called Only Murders in the Building. And they got some other really fun guests on the show too. So it's one of those shows where you watch it and you're like, oh, I know that person. Like they have a lot of really fun. So I don't want to spoil that, but I'll just keep it at that. It's just a really, really great show. Yeah.
Got it.
There you go.
I got it. I just put it on my favorites, so I got it.
And speaking of a good comedy too, I'll just get into two more shows, and then we'll have to save some of the other ones for the next episode, because literally I feel like I could, like, you and I could talk like for
We talked
5
about
years.
doing an all-nighter on this, but
I know, right? We're getting there.
That's-
It's 10:30.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning. What are your favorite shows, Kyle, at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, what? I think. Whoa. Where am I? Oh, no.
What? Kyle, are you up? Kyle. We have to extend the Zoom a little bit. So go ahead.
You're right. But one show I love, Flight of the Conchords, is a great, just straight up comedy. It's about these two musicians from New Zealand, and they're actually a real musical act, by the way. They've been around for a while, for about 20 years, I believe now. And they're these two guys, Brett and Jermaine. And it's basically just them living in New York City. It's kind of got like a little bit of a sitcom vibe, but like you kind of follow them, and they're trying to make it big in New York City, and they're just kind of like, they're not really going anywhere, but that's kind of like the fun of it. You just kind of see them, their lives day to day. Brett's always like looking for a love interest, or they're both always looking for a love interest, I guess. But what really stands out about this show is that they put a lot of their songs that they've actually done in real life, and they put them into the show, and they kind of like, it's almost a musical in certain ways. Like it just kind of breaks into like these songs, and the songs themselves are hilarious. Like you got to listen to them. They are so funny. If you can find Flight of the Conchords, even if you don't watch the show on, I think I believe it's on HBO now, but if you can just at least
on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think you can find, and it's only 2 seasons. That's not a long series either. And Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok, was involved in that show. That was one of his earlier shows, actually, that he did with Brett and Jermaine. And Jermaine's done a lot of stuff recently too, including like Legion, and he was in one of the Men in Black movies. I think, it was the third one. He's done a lot since that show. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm watching one of their songs right now. He's talking about a beautiful girl in the room.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's just a really funny show. They have incredibly, like, their songs are just like,
wow.
Some of them are just, I can't even, like, I just can't, like, I can't.
It's just weird enough for me to watch. I like that weirdness. I like the craziness of it.
Oh, it's so weird. And I like how kind of like, they're just very, they're kind of, they do a lot of the show deadpan, and I think that's what really makes it work. It kind of has that Napoleon Dynamite sort of deadpan vibe.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah, so definitely check out Flight of the Conchords, and also completely random show too, but also funny with some elements of kind of like very like fantasy, even a little bit of horror here and there. But this is a show I think you might like too. I know it's weird enough to say, but it's called Russian Doll. It's on Netflix, and it stars. You know about it?
So, yes, I love that actress.
Yeah, Natasha Lyonne. She's incredible. She makes the show. She's the reason why you watch that show, because like she literally, like, it's just such a great show. It's kind of got this Groundhog Day vibe.
Yeah.
And they always play that. Yeah. And what I love is like they always play that Harry Nilsson song every time like the loop like restarts kind of thing. Like it's just about this woman who's like she keeps reliving this like night of this party that she's at, and eventually figure out why that's going on. She's at her friend's house, and it's every time it always begins. She's in the bathroom at her friend's house, reliving the same night,
looking in the mirror.
Yeah. And
I saw some of it. I have not watched all of it.
You got to finish it. It's a great series. It's very funny. It's there's a lot of
there are parts that are very, because she's very rough.
Yeah,
I think that's the nice way of saying it.
It's a very well written show, and I think her character is very realistic and very just like very very relatable in a lot of ways. And you're right, kind of rough. She's got kind of that rough edge. Like you can tell life's kind of like taking a few hits at her. And,
Yes. Yes. I started watching it, and when you said it, I was like, oh, wait, I know that. That was one of the.
Yeah.
I think when I first got Netflix, I think that was not one of the first shows I watched, but it was like I was trying to figure out what to watch, and I see this, and I was like, yeah, because it's still on my favorites.
Yeah.
I just need to continue it.
It's and that's another series where I believe it's only like about like 20 minutes, half an hour long each episode. And I think there's only like about 6 to 8 episodes, but it's one of the most well-written shows I've ever seen. It like completely blew me away. I went in with no expectation. I barely had an idea who Natasha Lyonne was. I heard about her from other movies and such, but it's a show that I love it because it just came out of nowhere and it became instantly one of my favorite shows of all time. I love that series. And I think it's a series that even if you're a little bit skeptical, I think you should just check it out. It kind of runs the gambit of being a show with comedy, drama, a lot of relatability, and
it's a little freaky at times too.
Yes, it
could freak you out a little.
It's got some weird, almost some horror elements to at times, especially as you kind of like get to the later episodes, just to give you a heads up. Yes. But trust me, go for the ride. It's a.
Wasn't it something about some steps to get up to the party? A lot of steps to get up to the party. Isn't there a scene that's kind of?
I think so. Yeah, they it's kind of almost like dreamlike kind of vibe, and the show definitely
it does. I think that's why I stopped watching, because it like actually really like freaked me out. I was like, what the hell? I want to finish it. I definitely want to finish it. I remember exactly where I was. That's the only problem. I just can't remember exactly where I was. I might just start it from the beginning. Is it just one season?
It's only one. I heard they might be doing a second one, but honestly, I thought the show had a really great ending. I just really like the way they ended it personally. Like I don't want to spoil it, but like it's just like it's the perfect ending, I think, for a show like that. So that's all I'm gonna say. So
no, that's good. She actually started on a show, a series. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm doing some. And it is show. So it's about a women's prison.
Oh, Orange is the New Black. Yeah.
She was in that.
Okay, that was the show I heard about before. Okay, I've never seen that show, but I've heard very good things about it.
That's also on Netflix, I think.
Cool.
I'm not sure if it's still there, because it's like one of the first shows that was on Netflix.
I think it's there. I think usually shows that come out, or original shows or movies, even if they came out a while ago, Netflix usually doesn't take those out. They only take like the shows and movies that aren't technically like, I think, like theirs usually. So, which is wow.
Yeah, she was in that. She played a very, very tough Laura Prepon. Laura Prepon was from the 70s. Love interest. Oh. Yeah, Natasha Lyonne played Nikki Nichols in Orange is the New Black.
Okay, Nikki Nichols. You know, it's funny too, because I
it's so weird because I look at this picture of her. Whoa. And I'm like, well, that's her IMDb picture, and I'm like, wait a minute. She doesn't look anything like this in any shows I've seen.
Yeah, right?
I'm like, what is that? Where did that come from? That's whoa.
I feel like she just likes to get in like really in character and stuff. So I feel like she's definitely like a method actress. She likes to really yeah.
But I think she likes to have the strange. She likes to have these kind of crazy, strange,
Yeah.
into this crazy role kind of situation.
Hmm.
That's just what I'm thinking.
You know, it's funny. I read up on her, and I'm trying to figure out like what are the movies and other shows she was in. And I found out that she that apparently back in the '90s when she was a kid, she used to be on Barney.
Oh no, purple dinosaur.
So I'm wondering if like Barney like scarred her for life, and now she's only taking like the really crazy roles or something like that. But no.
I can see that because he scarred me for life. Um, dude, you have a kid, you got to watch Barney.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the way it is. She was in American Pie.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember her on American Pie because I can see that, but
maybe she was just, I don't know. She played maybe like a smaller role, like.
Yeah. So I mean, she's just on, and I'm glad that you brought up Russian Doll. I really started watching it, and then I don't know what it was, but it just I like started watching something else. Probably what happened is that you start watching one thing, you don't finish it, you think you're gonna finish it, you start watching something else, and then that goes to the sidelines, and then you're starting to watch something. Oh, I mean, I gotta watch this. Wait a minute, sideline. So I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's so many shows out there, and
There's
that's why
so much content.
Like
and with the old shows.
Yeah.
I'm watching on Hulu. I'm watching Match,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe but not really anything else. I'm watching that. Then I haven't been on Netflix in a little while. I've been on HBO Max mostly, watching West Wing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going like back and forth. And then I have Disney Plus. I'm watching. Hello, Marvel at the movies. Watching Marvel on Disney Plus, and then there's I watch Pluto, so I watched that. I mean, there's just so much to watch. It's like hard to kind of catch up. It's so much of a good thing. I'm not complaining about it.
Oh yeah,
glad that there's a lot of content out. Glad there's a lot of.
Which, like, honestly, like this is why, like, like tackling like an episode, talking about TV shows. We're gonna make several more of these because there's a lot of shows we can like just really
dive a ton. In. And even if we genre it up, we talk about 70s. We talk about our favorites versus the ones we don't like. There's so many things we can talk about. This should just be chapter 1. Chapter 1.
Yeah, no, so this was, I mean, honestly, Doug, this was incredible. I'm really glad that we got into all these shows that.
Yeah, this was a great episode.
Like, just.
Great episode.
Yeah, like I'm excited. This is why I really like sharing all these. Like, I feel like between you and I, we had a lot of good shows that if you guys really like, let us know what you guys think. If you guys have either watched any of those shows or if there is any shows that you think we should watch, just feel free to go right in the comment section. Just let us know. We're always looking for show recommendations as well because hey, we're in this time period. We're in this show renaissance. So I'm always open. I feel like you and I are always open to watching new things too. So
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, give us some shows that you guys like on any of the streamers that we have that we mentioned, and give us an idea of what you like, and we'll watch it. We'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, even if you guys have requests for us to review something, we can definitely talk about it, and maybe dedicate a special episode on a show if it's really that good, that worth talking about. So
absolutely, and we've already figured out that Kyle and I have already talked about it in show game, that kind of thing. We talked about doing a review on one show, one movie, one TV show, something that we've seen, something that we want to throw out there to you guys as a recommendation to watch on either a streamer or cable, whatever we have. And we're going to start doing that. I'm going to propose that on the next episode because I know we've done a little bit of that, But I'd like to put that in as a last segment of our show is to do a movie or TV review on something that we watched that we really like, and we'd like to throw it out there to you so you can like it too. Or maybe you won't, but we watched.
Yeah, and that's okay. If you guys have some honest criticisms about, certain shows and movies too, then I mean, we're happy to hear that as well. So, because
Oh,
you
yeah,
can like
definitely.
everything, it's certain.
We also want to hear about our content too, whether we're too, so that only makes us better.
Yeah. There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We are well, we're really happy to do more episodes, and we're gonna get ready for some really fun episodes, especially next time. We're hoping to do some video games now. So we've tackled movies, tackled TV shows, and now we're gonna do video games. That's it, because we love it. We love all of that. So
And we do have some guests that are going to be popping on pretty soon too. So
Oh, yes.
I haven't something that I will tell Kyle off the air, but we may have a special guest coming up relatively soon because I proposed for this person to come on and talk about his favorite movies and TV. He said, "Oh, I so want to do that." So we have some great content that's coming up down the road. And again, hit that bell and hit that subscribe and that bell. And we are on we're definitely on YouTube. So you can find us. We're gonna be changing our name slightly so you can find us a little easier. So we could certainly tell them what that is, and you'll be able to find it.
So
Kyle, did we discuss that? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the title we landed on right now, we're gonna work on Doug and Kyle presents Marvel at the Movies. So
just so you guys can find it easier, because once you go to Marvel at the Movies, there's 40 billion things about Marvel, including Marvel themselves putting out their own content.
Yeah,
which is great, but it's not so easy to find us. So we're going to change it up a little bit, so you can find it a lot easier. And we're going to put it out there on all kinds of social media. I know that there's a slight name change, so you can find us in.
Yeah, no, and if you guys look forward to that, and we'll I think that about wraps it up for tonight's episode. And let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time on the video game special of Marvel at the Movies. Have a great night, everyone.
That's right. And hey, just one last thing, please remember to watch the other two shows. We got On the Couch Talking Sports and with Robbie and Kyle, and then Robbie and me.
The Sports Splits with Robbie and Doug.
That's right. So watch it and see it and comment and subscribe. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.